evening, everyone. And welcome everybody out to the January 22nd meeting of the Lewiston Town Board. First, the agenda. Was there anything to be added or deleted from the agenda?
I have one matter to be added to my agenda, which would be the police department key fobs.
Okay.
I have an item, appointment of our auditor firm.
Okay.
I have one. It is for retaining an attorney for a litigation matter.
All right. Anyone else?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Move on to resident statements. Ms. Glasgow?
First of all, before I begin, I would like, Mr. Parisi, would you put your microphone down so that we can hear you? I'm sure that the ceiling, but we like to hear what you have to say. Also, everybody's mic, please put it down by your, because we can't hear you back here. I didn't even hear what you added to your agenda. Oh, I heard you.
Oh, okay,
I
sorry.
didn't hear Mr. Guyman, and I see Mr. Parisi, and I didn't hear Mr. Bax. Did you miss me?
Yes.
Welcome back.
I come here an hour early.
Sure. I have the same warm, fuzzy feeling too. One of the benefits of having the meetings recorded is that you can go back and you can see what you forgot and you can correct it, or if there's any problems. That's why the Taxpayers Alliance records all these meetings. So that the residents can see on their Facebook page exactly how you do your job. Unfortunately, while I was convalescing, I looked at the January the 8th reorganizational meeting. And that's where you do your appointments. And these are the following people that you failed to appoint. The entire clerk's department. The FOIL officer and the deputy, the first deputy, the deputy registrar, the deputy town clerk, the sub-registrar, the assistant tax receiver, the clerk typist, the dog control officer, the deputy dog control officer, and the janitor. The building inspector, the seeker compliance officer, Mr. Masters, the building clerk typist, the engineering clerk, the justice clerks, the justice typist, the assessor, the assessor's clerk typist, the external auditor, it goes on, the town prosecutor, I'm hoping he doesn't have a case tomorrow night, the park superintendent, the parks laborer, the recreation director, the part-time recreation typist, the chief operating officer of the WPCC, the clerk typist for the WPCC, the WPCC personnel, he's not here tonight, the water department superintendent, Mr. Townsend, and that personnel, the highway and drainage personnel, the water administrator, the entire senior citizens department, the director, the staff, and the van drivers, the police chief, the captains, the officers, the constables, and here's the one that's the kicker, the supervisor's office. The finance officer wasn't appointed, the executive secretary, and the risk manager. That's the entire town. So I would hope that tonight somebody does something to reappoint these people, because they're working.
Mrs. Glasgow, when did you determine this?
I determined it by looking at the film.
About when?
About when?
Well, this afternoon?
Are you accusing me of something?
No, I'm just curious, when did you
When
determine?
did I determine this? I determined this probably when Gianna put it up, which was maybe about a week ago.
Because the supervisor did ask you that when you had any questions, to feel free to call his
He didn't
office.
ask me.
At a meeting, he said, if you had any questions or concerns, give him a call.
Why do I have to tell you how to do your job, Bill?
Well, because there may be a difference of opinion of whether or not those items you mentioned have to be done.
You did it when you were on the town board, and I
And
did it
there's
when
the
I
old
was on the
joke
town
about
board.
why do you cut off the ends of the ham when you cook it?
So-
Because my mother did it that way. It doesn't mean just because we did it.
But you did it like that last year, too.
Well, we've learned some things since then.
Okay, you've learned some things since then.
But
So you
again,
don't
if you
really
have-
have to do
If you have any questions or concerns, give us a call. We can check them out.
I don't have to tell you how to do your job. That's your job. It was my job when I was on the town board, it was your job when you were on the town board, and it's your job now.
Well, things do change.
Well, I'd be interested to know where that is.
Well, if I could speak, I would like to say that the town board approved the salary schedule.
Oh, yeah,
Which includes
that's
all of
true.
those individuals.
Yeah, but you still have to make those appointments.
As per
You still have to
ancient
make,
history.
you still have to make those appointments.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Glasgow. All right, we'll move on to department head statements. Mr. Train, you said you had a item.
You're taking the current, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The issue with the paver, we have it approved for Steve Rogers to send a check, and I just need it, since Steve's out of town, Mr. Conrad will
It's
approve
to
it.
sign the agreement itself, not the check. The agreement had already been approved by the board. It has my approval as well. It needs the signature for tomorrow, so you can.
What's the name of the agreement?
It's the paver agreement. It's a memorandum of understanding involving purchase of a paver with the towns of Wheatfield, Porter, and Town of Niagara. And your motion just to be authorized.
Mr.
Deputy
Mayor, will you slide the
Supervisor.
mic closer to Mr. Greasy?
To authorize the deputy supervisor to sign the agreement on behalf of the town.
Make a motion to authorize the deputy supervisor to sign the paving agreement as stipulated by town council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
One other thing, Rob, you're taking the signage committee, and we're gonna do that, okay?
Okay, I would like, one of the things that I had that relates to this also is this check needs to be in tomorrow. We need to issue it as a post audit tomorrow. So I need the board's approval to be able to do that because it doesn't qualify within the guidelines of a post audit.
What's the amount of the check?
27,500.
Yes.
And that's payable to,
Urusi Construction Incorporated.
I'll take care of it as part of my abstract.
Okay.
Marty, did you wanna move on funds, or did you?
I've got that under my
Yep.
sections.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we have the chief, anything?
Just to let the board know, I am on the agenda as well, Mr. Bex, as Mr. Bex mentioned. Tomorrow, actually today, we did a walkthrough of the school. In case the board gets any phone calls, there's nothing that's gonna be happening that's an emergency type situation. We're doing an active shooter drill with Lewiston Porter on Friday. That's gonna start at around 8:30, 8:45, probably go till probably about 1 o'clock. We're doing it with numerous departments. So there'll be a police presence there as well as with fire to coordinate with the drill. Just in case you get any calls, we have had people call 911. We are gonna put up on our social media as well as the other departments that are involved.
What day is that again?
Friday.
Friday the 19th, all the buildings?
Friday, we're doing the intermediate and the middle school. Those two schools.
Okay, 6th. Great, thank you.
26th.
26th?
And six, which buildings again?
The intermediate education and the middle school.
Is that still Regents Week? Or is that in?
No, that goes till Friday. The only thing that's going on Friday is something in the, so just for the public as well, the access, if anybody needs to get in that property, it's gonna be closed off. The grounds for Lewiston Porter is gonna seal off the entrances. So you won't have access, there'll be limited access until the drill ends, and that, again, will be about 1 o'clock at the latest.
I'm sure you've told those businesses in the old primary building.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Mr. Master?
On the agenda.
Okay, Marty?
I'm on the agenda.
John?
Nothing at this time.
Dan? Bob?
I'm on the agenda as well.
Okay.
Nothing at this time.
Okay. All right, we'll move on from there to,
Cameron?
I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. Just to let you know that we were awarded $23,000 to finish up the court remodeling, and that I got notification from DOT that the pathway will start construction September, October timeframe.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Which path is that?
That's the one going from Devil's Hole, coming down the hill, across the dam, down the hill, and then end up on 9th by Tops here on 7th Street.
Yeah, I had several inquiries about that.
Yeah.
I'm real happy to tell them that they're gonna get the path.
That's it, it's moving along.
Me too. Have they incorporated, remember the meeting we had where we had discussed some of the issues as far as emergency evacuation, you know, whether they were gonna be able to get the gurney, if you will, over that brick wall and whatnot? Have they addressed some of those issues in
Yeah,
the new design?
the design allows for several entry points, so there's gonna be a ton, there will be quite a few of them going
So
up.
they've taken those to heart, which is
Yes.
great. And they
Yep,
incorporated them into the plan. Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
John, in the past minutes, Bernie talked about the Mohawk Trail too, that once the trail comes, the pathway that he referred to comes down Lewiston Hill to the, best I can give you is the Art Park opening there.
Mhm.
There's another grant that's gonna take that trail through
Center
to
Street.
9th Street, across 9th Street to Mohawk,
Yep.
to connect to the trail on Mohawk going north. So,
Hallelujah.
Okay.
That's all I had, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything, Brett, Parks? Nothing? Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I would like to ask the town board's permission to move forward with hiring a temporary part-time dog control officer. Mr. Sheriff has not returned, and it's not clear as to when he will be, so we would like to just hire a temporary one at this point on a part-time basis.
I think it's an important job, and obviously you can't step in and fill all of that with your own duties, so I make that motion. What is the salary?
That has not been determined, because
Is that to be posted? That position?
I was just asking for approval to just move ahead and then.
Then
we'll go from there,
absolutely. I think we
because-
just give you a thumbs up to do that.
and then
Unless anyone has any
go through
comments.
Procedures.
I would suggest you talk with Amy Smith in regards to a fair wage. She and I have talked about it briefly, but she was doing payroll today, so it's something that has to be addressed. I support Mr. Bax's motion.
Okay.
I'm not sure we can move on. to
No,
No.
just want to, thumbs up.
I should be aware that that's what's happening.
It's a double thumbs up.
Madam Clerk, do you have anything else?
No.
All right, move on to the approval of meeting minutes.
I'll move for approval of the December 11th public hearing work session, and then I have a correction.
On,
I'd second that first motion for the December 11th,
The
2017.
minutes say the executive session, also President, Councilman-elect Jacoby, and Special Counsel Gary Abraham. It has to be noted that Mr. Abraham was on a conference call.
That's right.
Call the question.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Right, one abstention, though, right? You abstained.
Yeah, I abstained, I wasn't there
Yeah, for the,
officially.
officially, right, you were there. but-
Move for approval of the December 28th, 2017 final audit, regular town board meeting, and the January 1st, 8th, January 8th, 2018 reorganization meeting.
Let me handle it separately.
You gotta do
John-
that. Yeah.
John can vote on the second one.
Okay. Move for approval of the final audit. Minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
January 8th? One abstention, right?
Go ahead, John. You can move for this one.
I make a motion to accept the reorganization meeting minutes from 1/08/2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, move on to the audit payment, Councilman Bax.
Take a motion to approve the regular abstract claim for fiscal year 2017, number 3,869 to 3,949, and for fiscal year 2018, number 22 to 123, and recommend payment in the amount of $303,765.98, plus a post-audit of $36,608.79, and another individual post-audit payment to Lucy Construction Corporation for $27,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, move on to old business. The bid on the fire hydrant.
We're still working on that. We just got some documents back today from our contractor, and then now that we have those, the town has some paperwork, some appendices we can fill out. provide to the state and hopefully move forward on this shortly.
Okay. Town standards for curbs, Mr. Landon.
Yes, I believe in your packet, there should be, I'm gonna guess maybe 10 or so update to the standard details. This was initiated by the change to upright curbs, and once I started getting into it, a little bit of a domino effect. One change led to another, and specific details. So a lot of that is simply for the change out for the curb, so.
Okay, Lance?
Move for approval, brief discussion.
Second discussion.
When would this go into effect then? When our new code book comes out, is that what we're doing?
No, as soon as the board would pass it, it will come into effect immediately.
All right, and the different curbs are for different conditions? Is
It's
that-
just gonna go, we decided, myself, building inspector, and Mr. Train, all decided that upright curbs should be the way to go.
Right.
It's a culmination of department head consultations.
Okay. Any additional pages within the?
What I would do is I would take the approved set and substitute the existing standards and remove them. So I'll swap them out.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
The board members should be aware that part of this will be that there'll be no parking on the side of the street where the fire hydrants are. So it will be something that you're going to have comments on down the way. So if you're on a block that has a fire hydrant, on that side of the street, there'll be no parking, which is agreed to, but it is something that you should be aware of.
How do you handle that in a cul-de-sac?
That's to make room for fire colors.
It-
So we have no parking on the fire hydrant side of all new development with this upright curb. The problem we're running into with the country curb is gonna be eliminated hopefully with the upright curb. But they would have been another 2 feet wider and we didn't have to put no parking in. I met with Chief Private for enforcement purposes and the other department heads, and it seems like it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. All right.
Call the question.
Is the question to supplement these new designs for our old?
Approve and supplement.
Second.
Is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, Bob.
Board and commission vacancies. Cable commission,
I don't think there's any action to take on this tonight unless some board member has a recommendation.
I don't have
any
any recommendations.
liaisons?
Well, I have one, but I thought I'd handle it when you come to my report from the liaison.
Okay.
I could do it now if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to reappoint John Sharp as town historian.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the signage committee, I'd like to make a motion to approve the personnel. We have Dave Train, Gary Wasco, Chris Winstow, Chief Private, and myself, Rob Morial, as the liaison.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
And the lighting advisory, we're gonna need an ex officio. We had to retire last week and we need to replace him, but we're gonna have to look, so I'm gonna table that right now.
Okay. What about well, action on the environmental commission appointee, correct?
Well, no, we're just continuing to address the issue with the secretary, and hopefully that'll be resolved soon.
Okay.
I think we can appoint the rest of the environmental committee,
Yes.
Yes.
Last.
Okay.
not the secretary.
Right,
Well, there's,
okay. Signage committee?
You
Just went through, yeah.
I'm sorry, yes, we
so,
did.
would you repeat the list for the signage
Okay, the
committee?
signage committee, the personnel on that committee will be Dave Train, Gary Wasco, Chris Winstow, Chief Private, and I'll be the liaison for it.
Okay. I thought I was on that committee, but I was changed.
Okay. Move on to pending matters, the dog shelter.
Hold on, were you the liaison on that? or-
Well, I thought Dave said that he wanted both of us, but
Okay, then,
I just didn't know what, if he had talked to you in the last 10 minutes.
yeah, you just told me, but, no, I'll play, that'd be great, and we'll play, Mr. Bill Guyton is a second liaison on there also with myself.
Second. And then a motion, all right, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Pending items, dog shelter. Do you want to have any information on the dog shelter?
We should rebid that in mid to late February.
Okay. right, bingo inspector?
Our bingo inspector is also out right now, so this is one where we're gonna probably, I believe, post that we'll be looking for a bingo inspector, and hopefully some town employees will step up and want to get that appointment.
If that doesn't happen, can we use the bingo inspector from another municipality?
I'll look into it, I don't know off the top of my head. I can look into that, but my understanding is you can appoint anybody to be a bingo inspector.
Anybody wants to do it?
Not me.
It's Friday night,
Friday night,
Once a month?
free coffee,
4 hours.
You can't play them.
all the coffee you can drink.
You don't have to yell it too loud.
You can't play. No playing.
Okay. All right, moving along, then the Cold War Veterans exemption. Any action on this?
No action to be taken on that tonight.
New business.
Any correspondence from residents?
Santa, anybody? Let's see, under Supervisor Broderick's agenda, the addition to the Upper Mountain Fire Company roster. So I have the names Melissa Ulrich and Nicholas Walter.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And legal, Brian, do you want to address the potential of the attorney?
Yeah, a matter was filed with the Public Employment Relations Board, PERB, that would be case number U-36099. It involves the Highway Department and Teamsters Local 264. It is new litigation against the town. Would recommend that outside counsel be retained to handle this. The town uses and has used in the past Brian Doyle for these types of matters, so I'd recommend that the town make a motion to approve Brian Doyle to represent the town in PERB case number U-36099.
Will it be at the same rate as last year?
It will be at, he has an agreement in place with the town that was already approved, so it would be at the rates contained. It would be the same as last year, yes, the same rate as what was done.
Move for approval of Brian Doyle to handle the PERB issue.
Is there a second?
We should say at the same rate as last year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Engineering.
Good. Only thing to report really is the water line project is in the beginning stages of design. Really, all I have to report.
Great, thank you. Finance?
Okay, I've got several. Okay, we already covered the paper. It had come to my attention that we did not name Drescher Malecki as the auditor for last year at the organization meeting. So I'm requesting that we do select them as our auditor, our external auditor.
So moved.
Second, and we already have a flow chart indicating what we agreed to would be the
Yeah.
2019 fee.
It's 2018, but yes.
18, I'm sorry.
And we are under a contract with them, so, but I felt like we should appoint them.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And if by some chance the supervisor has to sign the agreement,
Yeah, actually, he will have to sign the agreement before they come out here, if you want to go ahead and
move to
authorize
authorize the
it.
supervisor to sign said agreement for 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, another thing I have is the Tower Committee. The last time that the Tower Committee was paid was in 2013. We had removed them at the board's request from the budget, but because of the changes, it's looking like at the last meeting, you were wanting to look into reconstituting or reactivating that, but there is no budget for them at this point in time. So I need the board to decide, number one, how much you want to do from the budget, and we will have to take that out of contingency, is where we'll have to fund that through, because that's in the B fund. But I need to know at what dollar amount and what they'll be paid and what we're going to do.
Can I toss it out for discussion? All right. I would say at this late date, since we have to take out a contingency, that with no disrespect to anybody, that I'd like to use the previous wage, which I believe was 45 per member per meeting and 55 for the chairman. Is that right, Marty?
Actually, it was 35 and 45 in 2013.
Is that going back too far? All right.
Probably.
All right, 45 per member per meeting and 55 for
Or
the
50.
chairperson. 50 for the chairperson.
Is what you had told me before. or when
And
you-
if by some chance they need a secretary, I would suggest that if one of the board members takes on the role of secretary, that they get paid the $50.
How often does this committee meet?
Well, it's supposed to be once a month or as
It's
per,
as needed at
as
this
needed.
point.
But if Mr. Como moves ahead with his proposals for wind towers, we may need to do a little homework. So, as needed, but we needed it this week and we were a little late.
Okay,
So we got to resolve it.
if we do $45 for members for 5 members, which I believe is what you had talked about, and $50 for the chairman for 12 meetings would be $3,300. If you do $50 for whoever is taking the minutes at 12 minutes is another $600. I don't know if you have to have a paper announcement of that meeting or an Niagara Gazette, but my suggestion would be to move $4,000 from the B001990-0400, which is the contingency, and move it into the B008020-0400-0100, which is the Tower Commission, contractual.
So moved. Donna's got it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, Marty, I'm going to have to go back and do some homework on this because there's a total of 6 members. And usually the boards are an odd number. So if one of the people doesn't want to serve, we get to an odd.
I think the important thing is that you reserve that contingency for it. It does not authorize them to just, hopefully they won't be meeting 12 meetings either. So, but I think you need to reserve that money so the funds are available should that occur. We
Mr.
can
Conrad
always
said
change
he'd
it.
handle it.
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
I think we can get down to 5 pretty easily. I just want to go with people who are going to actively participate, so.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Yeah,
Every meeting, those meetings doesn't.
correct.
All right?
Okay. Anything, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm not done.
Never doubted.
Stormwater. As you know, Jeff Ritter is no longer this stormwater inspector, is that the name of it? Or,
Manager.
pardon?
Manager.
Manager. So we need to, so we have appointed, we've moved the stormwater manager into the B fund, which is where it used to be. Now, I have become aware of the fact that I just activated the accounts we used before, but after really looking at it and looking at the ARM, I've realized that we're using the wrong accounts for a stormwater manager. The account should be, the department should be 8140, which is for stormwater, where the account we're using is 8030, which is actually, according to the controller's office, is for research. So we need to activate the accounts being the B008140-0100 for personnel, and then the B008140-0400 for the contractual side of that. So we need to do that. And then in addition, there is an annual expense that was budgeted out of the SS2, which is an annual expense that I was not aware of, so it's not included in the budget, of $1,250 for the year. This is for the annual membership for the MS4 permit, which Jeff can explain the importance of that. But we need to also move money out of the contingency into that fund so that that check can be paid tomorrow with your approved abstract.
Jeff?
Yes, Erie County does the bulk of the work
Yeah.
for that, and that's why it's good to be in the Stormwater Coalition.
So I need you to authorize the use, changing the stormwater from the Department 8030 to 8140, and then, which would mean the personnel as well as the contractual.
You want to do one at a time?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then we need to move from the contingency, $1,250. I would probably use $1,500 because I'm sure there's going to be other expenses that we're not aware of. Just to be on the safe side, or you can do just the $1,250, but we need to move it from the contingency to the 8140-400.
Jeff, are there any additional fees that you're aware of?
There is other things that you can do as far as buying stormwater markers for the stormwater drains and putting them on. They're kind of expensive.
Will $250 do it?
$250 will get it started, enough for a year.
Okay. So make that motion.
So I would
$1,500.
move that we move $1,500 from B00199000400
Contingency.
contingency into the B00814000400, which is stormwater contractual.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd also like to commend Jeff for the enormous job he's done on the I&I. I mean, he's really kind of run with the ball since,
Well, stormwater is a little bit different than the I&I water. Stormwater is what runs off the ground and into another piece of property, or it's mostly like trying to convey the water that rains on the ground out into a basin or out into the river.
but Tim takes this very serious, or Jeff takes it very seriously, and I really have come to learn a lot from him, and I just can't say enough about the work he does.
Thank you. This mostly goes to Tim Masters' type of work now with the stormwater stuff.
But Tim gets enough compliments.
He does, but he's really the point.
Refresh my memory.
Tim, you do a great job, too.
Thanks, Al.
All right?
Yes, anything else?
We voted and all?
We got
Okay.
that?
I also sent you some budget revisions that for the 2017
Marty?
budget.
I'm sorry. Did we vote on?
Well, that's what I
We did
don't
vote on
know.
it. We did vote on it.
Okay.
I think you did.
All right, just want to make sure.
I lose track.
My comment was after the vote.
Okay, the budget revisions that I had sent to you that were in your packet, they are within the departments in each case. These are because invoices have come through after the end of the year. We hold the books open for 2 years, or 2 months. 2 years, oh my God. Shoot me. Between the contractual and equipment for the dog control, from recreation contractual from equipment, from equipment, and within parks equipment, contractual, and parks electric. These are all situations where it was in the budget, but we have to fine tune where within that budget needs to go. So these budget adjustments need to be made so that we can make those payments with the abstract.
Move to approve the budget revision edit list, date January 19th, 2018, time 10:19.45, 45 seconds.
Damn.
Total zero impact on the budget.
Second.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now, and I apologize for this being so last second, but I literally didn't find these because they just posted the abstract. I have 2 additional budget adjustments that we need to make, and in both cases, these are for additional items that have come through for 2017. The first one is for traffic control, 80033100400. We need to put $4,000 in that, and I suggest this come out of the contingency 80019900400. This is for striping on the, I can tell you exactly what road. Striping on the Walmore, Tuscarora, Grove, Model City, and Fifth. that invoice I thought was already accounted for, so I didn't adjust when we talked at year end, and that had not been included in that. So we need to cover that cost so that we can get that paid and closed out. It was ordered in 2017 and needs to be part of the 2017 budget.
Okay, summarize the accounts.
It would go from the A0019900400, which is a contingency in the A fund, to A0033100400, which is traffic control,
So move.
and it's for $4,000.
$4,000.
All in
And
favor?
then there's one more.
Let's do this one.
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
all right, one more is with the SS1. Again, we had set up the gas and electric accounts from the contractual. We had moved it down, so those are separated. We had a couple bills come through, the electric bills come through on a very delayed basis, and there was an extra one that I had not accounted for. So I need to take $2,000 out of SS1 81300400 and put it into SS1 81300400 3500. And it's moving it from treatment and disposal contractual to treatment and disposal gas and electric for $2,000.
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I tried to get those ahead of time, but they hadn't posted the abstract in,
You'll give
so.
Donna all those,
Pardon?
you'll give those to Donna?
Yes.
With all the numbers.
The police fob was the other thing I had, but I think we've added it to Councilman Spax.
You go forward with that.
Okay.
I'm next on the agenda, so that makes sense.
Okay. This was when we authorized the police to add the wall to secure Caitlin, but we did not account for we have to have 3 additional key fobs because they've added doors for that, and so we need to add those. The original key fob, the whole system came from H97 as infrastructure, and we would like the 3 key fobs, which are 3690, to be paid for from H97 also, if that meets your approval.
So move for discussion.
There's a second for approval.
I just didn't know if anyone had any questions of the chief, based on the fact that we're going to require more doors and anything. I just want to give everyone an opportunity to talk to you about before we voted.
Yeah, happy to answer any
It
questions.
was just an oversight that with the remodeling of the office, that they weren't included in on our original cost.
But we're creating 2 doors and that leaves 1 door outside where the training room is that will not be secured. So that secures it, so when people walk in, they can't get into the department.
That makes it a ton of sense.
Today's world.
3690, that's $36.90.
No, that's $3,690.
See how important that clarification was?
Yes.
It's a considerable amount.
That's why I sit here sometimes. Okay. All right, anything else?
No, that was all I had.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Bax, the report?
We have a list of the building fees. Is this something we just need to approve too?
Pardon
The
me?
building fees?
Yes.
So I make a motion to approve the 2018 fee chart for the town of Lewiston.
Second.
And in that package also is a new application for a sewer. We've added some things that Dave Train would like in there, some sentences with regards to tying in storm drain underneath the curb, things like that. So
It's all in final version though.
It's all the final version right there.
If I'm correct, our fees were way out of line
Yes.
Very low.
for years, and in comparison to other communities, and this is bringing us up to the middle of the road with other municipalities.
Yeah, just so you're aware, in your packet, I had Chris make this flow chart,
Yeah.
and it shows how our fees would compare to North Tonawanda, Amherst, Wilson, Niagara Falls, Wheatfield, Pendleton, and Porter. And if you see the price on there, then you see the plus. There's additional fees, like if you go to Wheatfield, for example, they might charge $300 for a building permit, we charge $400, but they charge a lot fee, they charge a curb cut fee, they charge all these other added fees. So, just so you're aware.
And again, it's not a gouging issue. I think it's a matter of paying for the services that the town performs for the
Well, that's correct.
developer.
Yeah, we have not raised our fees in our department since 2006, We added some fees in 2011, but the actual building permit fee is not raised since 2006.
So make a motion to approve with all the attached applications.
We just spell New York right on the top before we publish it though. Really great schedule work.
Are you serious?
Was it New York?
Spell check, you didn't catch that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And then, Tim, as far as the building department plans, copy cost,
That's just something that, I don't know where Donna went, that we've been talking about. She was trying to put together a fee because we don't have a fee schedule, and she can talk about it when she comes back in here.
it's a much more expensive process than just a normal.
Yeah, so like, for example, we had the other day, we had a foil, and the person foiled a full set of plans, and he wanted that full set of plans scanned and put on his thumb drive, which we had the ability to do, but we had no idea how to charge the guy. So,
Okay, fair enough. So I'll move to table that one for now.
yeah.
Is there a question, Mr. Jacoby?
No, I have no.
I have just alert the attorney to have input into that, if it's spoiled.
Because Steve wants to be.
Because spoil does have some regulations on what can be charged. That may be outside the normal page, because that's something technical.
Yeah, like I say, it was a full-size, 36 by 40-something drawings, 6 pages, so. Donna, I know, is working on the per-page copy. If it's not the norm, if it's not 8.5 by 11, what's the fee gonna be? If it's color, what's the fee gonna be? If it's a plan of a town map, what's the fee gonna be if it's color? So,
Coordinate with our attorney as that gets moving along.
That's all I've got, thank you.
Okay, Mr.
I
Guy?
have, there was one thing on the agenda that I didn't talk about, which was the health consortium fees.
Oh, yes.
And when I talked to Bill Guyman, Steve is the one that has really been involved with that. And so we made the decision to wait until the next meeting to discuss that.
Thank you. Mr. Guyman, anything?
Nothing, my items were taken care of already.
Okay, Mr. Jacoby?
We already covered the appointment of John Shaw. And the next item references this tower that exists on West Street in Sanborn. And T-Mobile is adding 6 antennas to it. The tower's going to stay the same height. It's not any change whatsoever. And all the important things have been handled. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the seeker parts 2 and 3 in relation to this project.
I'm gonna hop in right here first before you do that. Apologize. It's a co-location application. They're not making a new tower, they're putting equipment on an existing tower.
Hold the mic down, please.
They're putting equipment on an existing tower. And what that involves is putting a small pad on the bottom. I think it's maybe 10 foot by 11 foot to house the equipment, and they put the antennas on the tower. It's basically the process the town wants these companies to use, so that we're not building new towers every time. They're locating new equipment on the old towers. It has gone to
Everyone.
it's gone to everyone it's supposed to, pretty much.
Some twice.
It has gone to everyone. Everyone it's supposed to go to under our code, it's now down to the town board for approval. So as Councilman Jacoby did move, the first motion is to approve seekers parts 2 and 3 as prepared by our building inspector and then reviewed and approved also by our environmental commission. I would also note that if anybody has any questions about the application itself, we do have Corey Auerbach here from the law firm of Barclay and Damon, who represents the T-Mobile in this application process. So if you have any questions for him, he is here, he is available, but I don't believe he was going to speak other than to answer any questions that you may have.
For the record, should we do them
We need to be separate.
separately, everything down the way? So first, identify that we have done the seeker.
Yeah, so the first motion is to approve seeker parts 2 and 3, again, as prepared by Timothy Masters, building
I
inspector.
do have discussion on this.
Okay.
The security bond, was that turned in and did you review it?
The security bond has been turned in. The review of that bond was done by, I believe, some of the other commissions and found acceptable, but that was part of the application.
I think that was the only thing I had on that.
Okay, is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? Any questions for the, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
The next part of that is we want to move, I'd like to make a motion to accept the negative deck on that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that's really all I had.
We need to approve.
Oh, yeah, and then one final motion just to approve the application, to approve the project. Yep.
I make a motion to approve the application.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Morial.
The planning board didn't meet in December, so I have nothing there. I met with historical, Mr. Jacoby, and we had a meeting with our historical, and we're redoing the law. I don't know if it's almost done, ready to be resent. So basically, that's all I have going on right now.
All right, and we'll move on to resident statements. Anyone? Yes.
Rosemary Warren, Sanborn. I missed 2 meetings because of the cold weather, and I'm kind of disappointed that pending is still the Cold War exemption. Now, the Cold War, as I said, was after World War II. And my husband died, he was World War II, he was 86 when he died in 2015. That means your Cold War men are getting up into the, and women maybe, into the 70s and early 80s. So the longer you delay this, I don't know if you people are veterans or anything, but I can't see why, there can't be too many Cold War veterans in the town of Lewiston. You probably could count them on one hand, and probably every day, 1 or 2 are dying. So I wish you'd kind of move that along a little bit. I don't know why it has taken this long to discuss this. The other thing is, I thought under minutes, you said something about a conference call. Was that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now the conference call, I'll put a freedom of information on that conference call because it should be public knowledge. I would be interested in who was on that conference call, who took the minutes. I don't know if Donna would be involved in that or not. And why was it ever done? I've gone to like hundreds of public meetings and I've never heard of a conference call, or maybe they had one and didn't admit it. Now that's one thing too. So I just said, I'll be putting the freedom of information next, because I can't see transparency. I can't see, I'm not naive enough to know you don't do emails, you don't do texts, you don't do, you know, I mean, I'm not naive. I've been around politicians long enough to know all the ins and outs of you people and how you deal.
I don't mean to interrupt
And
you.
we hope it's always above board.
We can give you an explanation now.
Pardon?
We were in an open meeting and we had to go to executive session to have a
Oh,
conference
yeah,
call
I'm
with the attorney.
not complaining about your executive sessions. No, I just
That's
said the
when
conference call interests me.
That's when it took place. It
There was
was a conference call with an attorney.
Who wasn't
Oh, it
available to
wasn't,
attend the
it was
meeting?
during a meeting.
It was during a meeting, we said we were going to be going into executive session for a conference call with an attorney, consultation with the town's attorney.
So then, okay, then I
Just so
won't
you're
be
aware.
able to freedom of information, the conference call. I won't be able to freedom of information, the conference call.
Well, there's no recording of the conference call.
No
or anything
recording,
like that,
yes,
so.
okay. All right, I misunderstood. I had the idea that you had just, you know, you were at home, something came up,
No.
and you conference called.
No.
And I thought, well, that's sort of unique, you know, way to do business, and I wondered who was.
I much prefer that, but we're not allowed.
I kind of hope it doesn't happen too often, because we brought transparency, yeah. Okay,
Thank you,
All for
Mr.
transparency. Absolutely. Anyone else in the audience care to speak? All right, we'll move on to upcoming boards and commission meetings. The planning board will meet on February 8th at 6:30. Town board work session will be on February 12th at 6 o'clock. Environmental commission will be February 13th at 7 p.m. The historic preservation meeting will be on February 13th at 6 p.m. Zoning board of appeals will meet February 22nd at 7 p.m.
So is that planning board meeting correct, the 8th?
It would normally be the third Thursday.
This can't be the third Thursday.
It is not.
Third Thursday's the 15th.
Isn't there a conflict with the Cleveland Town Board meetings?
Should be the 15th.
No, there's,
Oh, if there is, we can meet in the room. All right, correction then, the 15th will be the planning board meeting at 6:30.
16 or 15?
15.
just for the record, Town Hall will be open on Lincoln's birthday, February 12th, but it will be closed on President's Day, February 19th, which is also Washington's birthday. Your house.
Is that,
Just a suggestion, you might want to have them check the website, because I think the ZBA meeting is also incorrect.
I think it's the 8th, that's exactly what I was about to bring up. I think ZBA is the second Thursday, and I think
Correct.
planning board is the
Third
third
Thursday.
So that would be the 8th and the 15th next month
Versus the,
versus the.
So the zoning board of appeals meeting, will be on February 8th,
at 7?
7 PM, correct. And then again, the planning board will be on February 15th at 6:30. Thank you for those corrections. Anything else for the benefit of the board? Motion to adjourn? No. Is there a second?
Well, let John do it.
John, go ahead.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.